One Z, two T's, Suzette speaks with an S. But again, the headlines include President Trump holding a cabinet meeting amid the government shutdown. We are in several weeks now of a government shutdown, in case you did not know, because now you do, with the lines at the airport. In some airports, the TSA line is as long as 4 hours because of this government shutdown. And this is now some of the longest TSA wait times in TSA history, thanks to the shutdown. Now, the TSA workers, the Transportation Safety Administration workers, are not being paid. These are the people that check for harmful items going into a plane, making sure all of us are safe, making sure we are here, properly, checked and verified. Getting onto planes, of course, we had series back in the day before TSA even existed. There was a series of mishaps happening on planes, people bringing all kinds of weapons and even bombs and things like this. So we need the TSA, and we respect our TSA workers. Now remember, the starting salary of TSA is well under that of the starting salary of ICE agents, who are also now in airports. All right, we're going to get to it, but the TSA around 50 to 60,000, and this is their third paycheck, coming up on their third paycheck they will have missed in the last 6 months. Because remember, we've had a previous government shutdown as well. So the TSA is looking at another paycheck missing. Now, I did see on Twitter today, I don't know how true it is, but I saw it, always perusing, or perusing, excuse me, not perusing, browsing and perusing. No, always perusing, the headlines just for you so I could bring you the latest. I know everybody's busy and has such a busy schedule and doesn't get to read all the news, but it's important to stay informed. As my friend Don Lemon likes to say, without being inundated. Give him credit for that. He's like, stay informed without being inundated. But we do need to know what's going on in the world. Obviously, the other big headline, and we'll get to the bottom of it, what's happening in the war in the Middle East. I don't know about you, but what is trending on social media, because I also like to cover social media trends, is there are so many of these memes. I don't know if it's officially from the Iranian government or if it's just AI that people are creating on their own. But I see day after day, some of these memes are like these cartoonish videos that are viral on social media that feature Iran and the United States and making a caricature of the President of the United States. And it's very interesting. They're going viral. They're being posted all over. And I'm just like, for a government whose top leaders, or the first three layers of their leaders, have been taken out, they still have a lot of organization when it comes to the messaging coming out of Iran. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming out of that war. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Remember, that is the small canal-like waterway right off the coast of Iran that allows for 20% of the oil for the world to pass through. And it is still closed right now. We are still on the watch as to whether there will be American boots on the ground. Latest reports have that there are soldiers from across this country that have now been deployed in the area, Marines that is, that have been deployed in the area. And so there's much speculation, and people are asking whether or not the U.S. will lead some sort of ground invasion of Iran. Again, many people are questioning what that will look like. Again, I'm looking at some of the top stories for you right now. The time is just 13 past. This is the Suzette Speak Show. You can catch me every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I actually do have a giveaway today. I have a giveaway. Are you ready? Yes, yeah. The sponsor of today's show is the Rise Women's Conference, Rise Women's Empowerment Conference, coming up on Saturday, April 18th, right here in South Florida. If you're a woman that is looking for sisterhood, and of course, a group of women that are looking to elevate, evolve, right, and heal together, I invite you to Rise. You can find out more information on Eventbrite. Rise Women's Conference, over 14 speakers. This is a faith-based conference, and I'm giving away a ticket today to Rise for any lady. Actually, the lady who is sponsoring said, if there's a single mom who cannot afford a ticket to this year's Rise conference, of course, the early bird is on Eventbrite through March 31st. Those tickets are just $35, the early bird, and then I think it goes up to $50. So get your tickets before March 31st. This again is a women's empowerment conference called Rise. You can look it up on Eventbrite. Rise, and again, I'm giving away a ticket to anybody who would want one, single mom or someone who is struggling financially and cannot afford a ticket at this time. We're thinking about you, ladies. We want you to feel empowered. Rise stands for Restore, Inspire, Serve, and Empower. And we are making this conference one of the best ever. I'm so excited about the lineup of speakers. Yours truly, Suzette Speaks, will be one of your MCs. We'll have ladies who are moderating and talking about health and depression and anxiety and recovery from divorce and identity in the Most High. We're talking about women who are judges, women who have been through some things, sharing their stories, and we have some powerful keynote speeches. It will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, April 18th. Check your calendars, go on Eventbrite. And again, today's show, Suzette Speaks Show, is sponsored by the Rise Women's Conference. We're giving away one free ticket to a woman, sorry, gentlemen, who wants to go. 850-446-0562, 850-446-0562. Get you right in touch if you would like to win that ticket to the Rise Women's Conference, April 18th, Plantation, Florida, Volunteer Park. So let's get into some more of these headlines, y'all. I'm going to play a little bit of Savannah Guthrie's interview. This is parts of it. Now, Savannah Guthrie's mom, as you will recall, this is the first time Savannah is speaking after the disappearance of her mother. Remember Miss Nancy Guthrie, the 80-plus-year-old who was taken, abducted from her home in Arizona, and we haven't heard anything about her. Remember, they released some of the camera, the doorbell camera footage that was in front of Miss Nancy Guthrie's house, saw a man who tried to cover his identity. Do you remember this? Well, Savannah Guthrie, in her interview, is saying, quote, "It's never too late to do the right thing." This is the first time she's speaking out. She sat down with journalist Hoda Kotb, and this is the first time since her mother's disappearance of Miss Nancy Guthrie. She opens up about the moment she found out that her mom went missing and what it was like making the trip to Tucson, Arizona, to her mom's home. She also talks about whether she believed the ransom notes sent to the media outlets were real. Remember, the ransom notes were sent to TMZ and talking about Bitcoin, and they should give them Bitcoin for her mom's return. We haven't found Nancy Guthrie, and it is sad. It is unacceptable, and it is something that we have to really pray about for her, because she had 3 children. Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie being the morning news host, quite popular, and people are wondering if she was targeted, and there's a lot of speculation if she was targeted because she is a national news host, and wondering if people thought they could get her to give them money, if that was the actual motivation, right? We don't know because we don't have any evidence just as yet, but I'm going to play a little bit from this interview. Again, she sat down for the very first time. This is coming from the Today Show, NBC News YouTube page. And in this, again, she discusses a lot of her feelings after her mother got abducted. Savannah Guthrie says, quote, "There are no words. I don't understand. No one took better care of my mom than my sister and my brother-in-law. And no one protected my mom more than my brother." Now, social media is a crazy place, y'all, because there's so much speculation. People are wondering, really, where is this beautiful woman? But I'm going to play it in her own words. Let me just open up and play just a clip here of Hoda Kotb from the Today Show and her sitting down with Savannah Guthrie, and just let's get a feel for what her experience is now that she's speaking out after the loss of her mother. I can push the
trip to go play tennis, and so he had been gone for the weekend, so I took my kids actually to Carson's. So we had a beautiful fun night together, and then I came home, and really just got home at the same time that Mike came home. We were just saying hi, putting down our stuff, and the kids were running around, and my sister called me, and I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "No." she said, "Mom's missing." And I said, "What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?" She said, "She's gone." And she was in a panic. I was in a panic. I'm like, "Call 911.
Yeah.
She's like, "I did. We called them. They're here." And we thought that she must have had like some kind of medical episode in the night, and that somehow, the paramedics had come because the back doors were propped open, and that didn't make any sense. We thought maybe they came and there was a stretcher and they took her out the back. But her phone was there and her purse was there and all her things. And it just didn't make any sense. So, Annie and Tommy had already called all the hospitals, but then I'm like, I'm going to call the hospital. So then I started calling the hospitals, and the police were there and talking to her at the same time. And it was just chaos and disbelief.
Within hours.
So this is Savannah Guthrie. I'm just taking a quick station ID pause. This is the Suzette Speaks Show. Savannah Guthrie has been speaking out. Again, we had this as a front page story just a month or plus ago, month or few weeks ago, month plus or a few weeks ago. Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie, the 80-plus-year-old, who it was taken from her Tucson home in the middle of the night. She needs medicine to stay alive. Remember, she had a heart condition. They took her without the heart medicine. And then there were ransom notes that were sent to news outlets, including TMZ, the popular, Hollywood blogging website, news website. And then we have been quite silent about where Miss Nancy Guthrie has been. And I found it odd every time I do my show. I'm on Thursdays and Fridays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I keep saying to myself, where is Nancy Guthrie? How come we can't get a proper update about this lady? All of a sudden, she was all over our news. This is the speed of the news cycle. And when I'm looking at the updates now, it is quite frightening that this is now the first time. I'm trying to look back at the date when she first went missing. This is the first time her daughter, Savannah, has been talking about it. Now, people are trying to be body language analysts, and I'm refraining from that. People are saying, did she look sad enough? This woman has lost her mom. She is numb. She's done interviews with the law enforcement, I'm sure, multiple times. She's probably been speaking to attorneys. She has been, gone from her job. Now she's back on the job. And it is a very stressful position to be in. So when Savannah Guthrie finally decides to sit in front of the cameras, there's a lot of judgment coming from, and again, I'm checking out the social media streets for you, looking at what people are saying. But she could not, you can't determine how you're going to feel in that moment when someone's asking you about your mom. People are trying to analyze, does she have enough sadness in her face, or is there enough tears? People are very judgmental in this day and age. And they're speculating, did the family have anything to do with it? And again, we have seen so many stories. And this is what makes us, I think, very jaded. Sometimes we got to stop watching so much crime shows. Because when we look at the pattern sometimes of some very high profile crimes where the family was involved, people start to think, well, how could she just disappear? She left dinner, remember? She left the game night or something and went home that night. And so there's so much speculation, but I'd like to encourage us not to jump to conclusions. This is a woman who is bearing her heart, bearing her soul, sitting down with photocopy, and I can only play just a few clips of it for you, of course, but you can watch it in its entirety. They have it on the Today Show YouTube page, so you can assess. I think it's like 15 minutes for part 1 and 12 minutes for part 2. And again, it is just scary because we still don't have much information. So here you're listening to Savannah Guthrie recount what happened, the days and the moments following her mother's disappearance.
Savannah was making the long journey home to Tucson.
You saw Annie and Cam when you got to their house. Tell me about that moment.
Just disbelief and hugging each other. Yeah. And I think we were on the phone with the sheriff and trying to, really make clear as I mean, from the very early moments, you know, Annie and Tommy were saying this isn't that case that you are used to where someone wanders off. She can't wander off. My mom, she was in tremendous pain. Her back was very bad. You know, she was trying to, on a good day, she could walk down to the mailbox and get the mail, but most days not. So there was no wander off. And the doors were propped open.
Yeah.
And there was blood on the front doorstep. And the Ring camera had been yanked off.
Yeah.
And so we were saying, this is...
Do something.
This is not okay.
Yeah.
This isn't... Something is very wrong here.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about what possibly...
Hey guys, welcome. Hit the like button. Thank you. I have to pause it just so I don't get copyright strike. I pray you're having a beautiful Thursday. Hey everybody, thanks for checking in. Who was that? I saw. Hey Martin, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by, doing some news coverage today. Shout out to everybody watching. Hit the like button, please.
In the military and worked in intelligence and is a fighter pilot and is brilliant, and he saw very clearly right away what this was.
Yeah.
And even on the phone, when I called him, he knew.
He knew.
And he said, I think she's been kidnapped for ransom. And I said,
Yeah.
what? Yeah. Well, why? What? And then, I mean, it sounds so like, how dumb could I be? But I didn't want to believe. I just said, do you think because of me?
Child, let me pause it right there. This is a Suzette Speaks show. Also going on tonight, just by the way, or starts this weekend, Ultra Music Festival, and I'm gonna pause because it gets heavy. I'm replaying some of the interview that Savannah Guthrie, daughter of missing 80-plus-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Remember her? Nancy Guthrie was a high-profile news story just a few weeks ago. Still haven't heard anything about, you know, where her possible body is, where she could have been taken, who took her, why. There's so many more questions. And we're seeing and we're just listening to a small portion of the interview of her daughter, Today host Savannah Guthrie, finally speaking out with Hoda Kotb in an interview on Today. Just wanted to give you a flavor for it because it is something that is buzzing around on these internet streets right now. There again are so many people speculating on, you know, was she sad enough? What's her body language saying? I'm just saying, give this woman grace. At this point, we don't have any evidence of any involvement by anybody with the immediate family. And I think it's very hurtful to assume that. Again, we've seen that story play out in many other high-profile cases, but we are not sure, and there's no evidence pointing to that at this time. So let's be careful not to judge and to draw conclusions so far. But again, a very tearful and emotional interview from Savannah Guthrie as we are just covering some news headlines. I think I'm going to pause that. Also want to remind you that today's Suzette Speaks show is brought to you by the Rise Women's Conference. Rise Women's Conference will be coming up next month. It's Saturday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Volunteer Park in Plantation, Florida. RISE stands for Restore. This is a conference to restore, inspire, serve, and empower you. If you're looking to connect with like-minded women who are interested in personal and professional development, you're looking for a space to relax, relate, renew, this is the conference for you. Early bird tickets are just $35 if you are a woman listening now, single mom, or someone who is facing financial difficulty and cannot afford the early bird $35 ticket, which is available on Eventbrite. Call me now. Not Miss Cleo, but call me now. I do have a giveaway for any woman listening who cannot, again, afford this early bird ticket and would like to be in the building on Saturday, April 18th. Thanks to the Rise Women's Conference, you can call me 850-446-0955. 0562. This is the Suzette Speak Show. Got to take a quick pause for station ID. We'll be back right after this.
The all-new voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. The voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
Again, good afternoon and welcome. This is the second half of the Suzette Speak Show. I come to you right here on Voice of the Caribbean Radio. You can listen to us live Thursdays and Fridays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on 101.5 FM HD2 from the Keys right up to Port St. Lucie. What's up, everybody listening on their radios? Again, simulcasting on 96.9 FM in Broward County. What's up, Fort Lauderdale? And if you want to take us wherever you go, make sure you download that app. That app has been going really well for us. Listen, a lot of fans and followers are joining the Voice of the Caribbean family. Again, we bring you news most middays. We have great talk shows. We have health shows. And then we have music, right? And this is a Throwback Thursday. So what does that mean? Old school, baby. If you like the old school reggae, soca, dancehall, today is your day. I heard a little disco, like 70s. Humble Lion before me was playing, and trust me, Lisa B, all the rest of the wonderful crew coming in throughout the evening. You're going to get the old school flavor. So I love tuning in on a Thursday, but my favorite day is Fire Friday. That's tomorrow. But anyway, Ultra Music Festival comes to Miami. I'm going to tell you, I got stuck in Ultra. It was like another event going on the same time as Ultra. I won't be attending. If you do like that type of world techno type music, the Ultra Music Fest is one of the most popular, and trust me, the out-of-towners will be in the building. But the top stories that we're following right now have to do with Nicolas Maduro. He calls himself, he says he's still the president of Venezuela, is being taken into court today in New York City. We're watching that headline. Also, TSA, we want TSA, we want TSA, we want the TSA to get paid. This is going on their third paycheck not getting paid because of the government shutdown. Why is the government shut down? Well, Republicans are insisting that Democrats come on board to make sure to pass a budget. Democrats are saying, no, until you reform ICE, we're not giving them more money in a budget. They need to stop wearing the mask. They need to get not only an administrative warrant, they want a judge to issue a warrant to go into people's houses and to take them. Right now, putting my lawyer hat, one of the most frequently filed petitions by people right now in detention is the habeas corpus petition, meaning having the body. Why are you detaining me? Why are you limiting my freedom? And on what basis without a hearing? So this is a serious issue. Democrats are saying we're not funding the government based on our demands. Come over to our side. Make them get not an internal warrant from their same administrators, an administrative law judge. Make them get a regular judicial warrant. Make them stop wearing masks, not just in the airport. You notice in the airport, our ICE agents don't have them on masks. People are taking pictures of them. People are posting, especially I see some of the African-American ones, or what I'm assuming, just say black, because I don't know what their ethnicity is. But I've been watching on Threads. They got the one black girl, I don't know where was she in, because there's a lot of ICE agents, and depending on the airport, right? They said there are a lot in the Texas, the Houston, was it Hobby? Is it Hobby or Lobby? I think it's Lobby. Airport, forgive me if I get the name wrong, as well as in the Atlanta airport. Different parts of the country have more ICE than others. So they're saying, like in Texas, wait times have been 4 hours. I'm talking about lines snaking into the parking lot outside. Now, I had cousins that just came back from Jamaica. They went, when was it, last week? Wednesday, Thursday? So I asked my auntie, I was like, how was the TSA? She was like, no problem. They had the first flight out, though. So they were early morning, and they had no issues. They didn't have a very, very long wait at all. Got into their plane. They said they actually had an unruly passenger. Not unruly. What she told me, my auntie said, on her flight down to Jamaica, a lady didn't want to ask for help. An elder didn't want to ask for help. And unfortunately, her bag, when she was trying to push it up into the overhead compartment, fell in her face and knocked her out. Can you imagine? That's like a freak accident. So crazy. So anyway, their flight wasn't delayed because of TSA. Their flight was delayed because the lady tried to put her bag up into the storage compartment, and it was too heavy for her. She didn't get any help, and boom, knocked on the floor. She still wanted to go to Jamaica. She was holding up the plane. My auntie was giving me this story yesterday. I was like, for real? She's like, yes. She didn't want to come off the plane, but of course you can't fly now. You might have a blood clot in your brain. Next thing you go up in the air and cause problems, baby, you could lose your life. Crazy, right? Anyway, so they weren't slowed down because of TSA. They were slowed down because of a freak accident. But anyway, and I asked her on our way back. She said the immigration line was long on the way back. There was like an ICE agent that was holding it up. She said it was he wasn't facilitating it to be quicker. He was actually slowing it down. And then later, while they had waited a couple hours, like a TSA, clearly a TSA employee had come over, and she was just left and right. What do you have? Passports or American passports this line, Jamaican passport holders or foreign nationals that line. Like, she was moving the people quick through after this gentleman who maybe he didn't even know what to do yet because they're brand new into this operation of so-called ICE in our airports. But I don't know if I agree with it. What are your thoughts on the ICE in the airport? Like I said, we've seen how ICE has unfortunately taken the lives of Americans on the streets. So people are wondering what it's going to lead to. Again, this just happened this week, started on Monday. ICE agents, I don't know, I haven't traveled in Miami. My cousins flew out of Fort Lauderdale airport, and so they didn't see any ICE, but they did have one gentleman that stopped their line, and it was very, very congested for a very long time thanks to that ICE agent, in their opinion. They're giving me their experience, and then once the TSA lady came and kind of relieved him, she was moving along. Anyway, but right now, the longest wait times in history, as ICE, many are saying, according to our local NPR station here in Miami, WLRN is reporting that travelers are facing the longest TSA wait times in history. That's the NPR affiliate here in Miami. According to an article published earlier today, saying travelers are facing the longest TSA wait times in history. That's the title of the article. The transportation, I'm tongue-tied today. Let me get a little water. What's up, everybody? Your girl got to get her green tea and heat up her mouth. But anyway, it's hot in here. It's 81 degrees in Miami, 79 right now in Fort Lauderdale. Rainfall intensity should increase tomorrow. Now, people are going to ultra. Right now, it's not a cloud in the sky. I think very, very low rainfall predictions. Right now, high will be 83. Typical of this time of year would be 81. Fort Lauderdale right now is 79. It's going to go down to probably 77. Still pretty warm by 7 p.m. tonight. But we're looking forward to tomorrow, where we're increasing our rain chances. So make sure, again, if you're gearing up, I don't know if you're going to be with the young people out there at the Ultra Festival. I went out there 1 year, baby. They cannot get me coming back. It was interesting. I'm a person that likes to try new things, but the type of music, the people they half dress, half naked, half everything. And again, I guess I can appreciate Carnival more just because I know the culture. It's my culture. But the Ultra, hey, if you want to, it's up to you. Once again, Nicolas Maduro, as he calls himself the president of Venezuela, is expected in court today. We are watching intensely. I'm keeping my eye on the TV monitors here in the studio to see when that goes down so we can keep you informed about what's going on. Maduro and his wife, some would say, were kidnapped by the U.S. government, allegedly taken on criminal charges to face a judge here in New York. And I believe both of them have waived their right to a speedy trial, but Nicolas Maduro and his wife are expected in federal court. We're trying to stay on top of that. But back to the TSA lines, according to the NPR affiliate here in South Florida, WLRN, the Transportation Secretary Administration is experiencing the longest wait times ever in its 24-year history because of the ongoing partial shutdown. This is according to the agency's deputy administrator, Ha Nguyen McNeil, as she told the House Homeland Security Committee yesterday on Wednesday. Wait times at some major airports have exceeded 4 hours, and employees at those airports are calling out, listen, this is what is worrying me. Because do the ICE agents know what's up with checking people's bags and really properly screening people? That's what I want to know. If it takes TSA 6 months to get certified and ICE less than 90 days, I think they say 42 days of training for ICE. ICE still getting paid right now. ICE getting paid in the six figures. ICE people make six figures. TSA make 60,000, 50,000, and they're not getting paid. This will be their third paycheck. We need the government shutdown to end, y'all. President Trump is holding a cabinet meeting as we speak right now, as I speak, amidst the Department of Homeland Security shutdown. Of course, we're at war. We haven't even touched on Iran yet. I'm getting to it. So much news, so little time, I love to say. Next week, y'all get prepared. I'm going to have some wonderful guests who will be presenting on the show. Some are going to have to do with insurance and healthcare. We need to keep people abreast of what's happening and changes of Medicaid, Medicare, insurance policy. I know that this is something that affects a lot of folks. So we're going to start with some very informative interviews next week. I'm really excited about that coming up in the next few weeks. So just stay locked in for that here on the Suzette Speaks Show. But are you concerned about traveling? I won't be traveling. I think my very next trip is not till July. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be going overseas. Not going to tell y'all where yet. But I'm dreading going to Miami International. I'm thinking about it already. I'm like, Lord, I'm going to be in the TSA line. But according to NPR, in some jurisdictions, some airports, the call-in sick rate or the call-off rate of the TSA agents is almost half. So imagine being in Atlanta, the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, the busiest airport, Chicago, busiest. These are busiest airports in the United States. And rest in peace to the pilots that passed away just now in LaGuardia. I didn't even want to cover the story. The story happened earlier this week, and it made me cry. This mishap, y'all saw it at the LaGuardia Airport, where air traffic controllers mistakenly, allegedly, you could hear the video for yourself, told a fire truck they could cross a certain runway, and the Air Canada plane was landing at the very same time. Freak accident. Hurts to watch. It hurts. I cried. Because I didn't even really want to talk about it right now. I can't even talk about it too long. Because it made me cry. I said these two innocents, the pilots did what they could, but they can't stop a jet and pull back up that quickly. The truck was right there. The fire truck. Miraculous story, even though the pilots lost their lives. Praying for their families. The miraculous story that came out of that is the flight attendant that was strapped in her seat and she was ejected and lived. They say because she was in the front too. And her whole seat flew out of the plane. She landed on the tarmac in her seat, still strapped in. God be praised. Jesus. They say when the Lord not ready for you, he's not ready for you, in all seriousness. Ma'am, it's time for you to give over your life to the God of this universe. Because look at that. But in all seriousness, like I said, when I heard about the pilots losing their lives, I cried, you know? It's very sad. Very tough story to cover. So we're going to pause on that so you don't hear me lose my composure here. It's the Suzette Speaks Show. Welcome. If you're just joining us, time check is now 1:43. Today's show is brought to you by the Rise Women's Conference. I have a free ticket to give away if you're available. And you know for sure you're going to go Saturday, April 18th at the Volunteer Park in Plantation. The Rise Women's Conference is a conference that is designed to restore, inspire, serve, and empower you. We have 14 incredible speakers that are going to be pouring into you from their experiences and from their learning, lifelong learning and know-how to help you elevate, to help you overcome, to help you redirect, restart. It's never too late to restart, ladies. And with everything going on in the world, we know you need to be encouraged. So if you're looking for a space where you can be encouraged and connect with like-minded women, don't forget, go on Eventbrite. The early bird finishes March 31st. The conference is Saturday, April 18th. Saturday, April 18th. Saturday, April 18th. Fort Lauderdale, what's up? At the Plantation. Volunteer Park, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tickets now are only $35. If you are having financial difficulty and you can't afford a ticket right now, if you're a single mom, you need a ticket. I have one ticket today to give away, 446-0562. Gets you in touch. Give me a call, 850. I'll take you off the air, 446-0562. We want to give away that ticket. Thank you to the Rise Women's Conference, Saturday, April 18th, for sponsoring today's Suzette Speaks show. Now, have you been at the airport with the TSA lines? I'm asking. I got to get to Iraq. I'm going to get to Iran. Still a lot of news. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed, but I'm telling you, Iran is saying they're rejecting the peace plan by the United States. This is the latest reporting according to NBC6 News. Now, people were speculating with President Trump talking about he was in talks, but didn't want to tell people who he was in talks with in Iran because, again, the first and the second and the third tier of Iranian governmental leadership were all deceased now. They were all taken out. By who? Well, U.S. government, I don't know who their negotiating partners is. I read, and I will stand corrected, but I'm hearing that the pathway of negotiation is actually by way of the country of Pakistan. Pakistan allegedly is serving as the intermediary between Iran and the United States. But apparently the latest news, just as of today's Suzette Speaks show, we hope we get better news, is that Iran is currently rejecting the peace plan by the United States. But just to finish up what's going on with the TSA, we got to really think about our brothers and sisters who are not being paid. The Transportation Safety Administration, again, due to the government shutdown, people are not talking about because we have a war going on. Wait times at some of the airports, according to the NPR affiliate here in Miami, WLRN, on their website, they're reporting that some of the longest wait times ever in the 24-year history. Now, TSA is only 24 years old since 9/11, really. In a Homeland Security Committee testifying or just giving an update, the agency's deputy administrator, Wynn McNeil, said some of the longest wait times are now being experienced. Wait times at some of the major airports have exceeded 4 hours, and employees at some of the airports are calling out of work at the rate of 40 to 50%, said McNeil to the House Homeland Security Committee in a testimony yesterday that was on Wednesday to the United States House. This is the Deputy Administrator of TSA. If the partial government shutdown continues into Friday, TSA will have missed almost $1 billion in paychecks. $1 billion in paychecks. These are people who have families. They are saying that the TSA workers are turning to ride share. They're calling out from work, trying to donate blood. Some of them are staying in their cars because so they don't have to buy gas to and from work. They're sleeping in their cars. These are our frontline workers. Remember that term from COVID? Y'all remember frontline, the urgent people that we need? Well, TSA now will have missed, according to the Deputy Administrator McNeil, $1 billion in paychecks come tomorrow. That's real people. Now, some would argue, now I've been seeing it a lot online, the discussion about we got a funding bill for the war in the billions, and we have workers here in the United States, thanks to inflation. They say inflation now at 4.2%. I was just reading it this morning. I got to cover that too tomorrow, guys. There's so much to talk about. So much news, so little time. But listen, according to the Deputy Administrator of TSA, Deputy Administrator McNeil said, quote, "This level of disruption is unprecedented and unacceptable and significantly undermines the security of U.S. transportation system," she said in her testimony yesterday. McNeil said employees are unable to pay their utility bills and their services are being shut off as a result. They are also receiving eviction notices, sleeping in their cars, and selling their blood and plasma to make ends meet. More than 480 employees have quit since the shutdown began. They say, I ain't got time for that. How can you blame them? Bills come every month. Whether they pay you or not, they putting your paycheck in the back office. Congress still getting paid, though. Members of Congress not missing a paycheck. ICE agents who are standing right beside them in the airport now, handing out water in some cases, are getting paid, though. Big 6-figure check. But the everyday TSA worker now, 3 months, 3 paychecks? Can you imagine what your life is like if you didn't have 3 paychecks? In this, in this very, very taxing American system? They need their money. We need to reopen the government. The Democrats and the Republicans need to come to some sort of agreement. And the big sticking point for Democrats, why they say they're not voting with the Republicans, is the ICE agents are out of control. They want better regulation and oversight of ICE. They're saying until you agree, Republicans not budging, though. So people are calling it a Republican shutdown. Republicans are trying to say it's a Democratic shutdown. They got to come to an agreement. They're saying, well, carve out TSA. Just give us TSA. We'll fund that, and then we'll get to the rest of the problems that you have with the budget, with the ICE and everybody else. Democrats said, no, put it in there now. Let's deal with it now. We have to have better regulation of ICE agents. It's out of control. Look what happened in Minnesota is their argument. Rest in peace, Alex Preddy and Renee Good and the several other people, Americans, whose lives were taken at the hands of ICE. So we're going to get to the bottom of the TSA. I pray that they will come to some sort of consensus. Now listen what also is happening because their TSA workers are now calling out, donating plasma, trying to make ends meet while they're not being paid. The transportation secretary, their deputy administrator of the Transportation Safety Administration is now also saying, additionally, there has been a 500% increase in assaults against TSA officers since the shutdown began. People are frustrated. You gonna put ICE where people are already frustrated in the airport? Long line. I kept thinking, what if you're in that long behind line? You got to use the bathroom. You can't even get out of line to go use the ladies' room because you're going to lose your space. And then your plane about to board without, like, it's stressful. Think about that. They are not only not being paid, but there's a 500% increase in assaults against them, the TSA agents. Oh my. This is according to Deputy Director McNeil in testimony she gave yesterday to the House of Representatives. She said legal action will be pursued in these incidents. 500% increase in assaults against TSA officers since the shutdown. What in the world? Now, this is interesting. In this NPR article by WLRN, which is the Miami affiliate, it is also stated that McNeil, the deputy director, thanked Trump for sending ICE agents to some major airports, quote, enabling TSA officers to focus on carrying out critical security screening duties during this challenging time for our agency, she said. In addition, TSA may have to close smaller airports due to understaffing, she said. And she worries the agency will continue to lose officers to more steady jobs and fail to attract new talent. McNeil said, it takes 4 to 6 months to train a TSA officer to work checkpoints. Meanwhile, new hires wouldn't be available to work when several, this is crazy, FIFA World Cup matches will happen across the country starting in June. So remember, World Cup is coming. People from all over the world coming to the various cities throughout North America, especially here in the United States. Games will be played right here in Miami at the Hard Rock. And at just this critical juncture, this critical time, you got experienced TSA walking off the job. It take, what she said, 4 to 6 months to train up new ones. What? No, April, basically, March is done. April, May, June. That's 3 months till we start getting into the FIFA World Cup. This is like wow. Let me just finish reading the article. Well, we'll see what happens during We'll see what happens. No, FIFA already released some rooms and hundreds of thousands of tickets are on the second market. They are not coming. Oh, wow. This is according to the ABX girl on my YouTube channel. I love when my people chime in. Thank you for that comment, ABX girl. Man, they say, I don't know. Listen, we gotta write in to your congressperson to let them know how you feel about this. You still are the ultimate person in charge of this government. I know it doesn't feel like it, but the government belongs to the people. By voting, by speaking up and writing or calling your elected officials, demanding that you see change. That's the only way this is going to change, y'all. So looking at the timeline, FIFA World Cup matches will happen across the country starting in June. TSA is anticipating between 6 million and 10 million additional passengers for the FIFA World Cup tournament. We want people to be able to travel, y'all, and travel safely. She asked to the traveling public, we ask for your patience and understanding as our officers are working their hardest to ensure your travel is safe. All of that while not getting paid, she said. Now, Democrats and Republicans are pointing fingers about what's causing the shutdown. At Wednesday's hearing, Democrats and Republican House members blamed the opposing party for dragging the shutdown on. Both parties have been unable to agree on funding for the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that's ICE, which, like TSA, is under the Department of Homeland Security umbrella. Democrats have claimed ICE is overfunded and officers are using unnecessary physical force. Meanwhile, Republicans have asserted that the U.S. is facing increased terroristic threats and that ICE has been undoing the lax immigration policies put in place by former President Joe Biden. Now, who you think is really to blame? I'm going to ask you. Again, Ultra Music Festival, there are closures and detours starting today, Thursday, March 26th through Monday, March 30th. Ultra Music Festival hits Miami Beach. Are y'all ready? I'm not going to be in the melee. I went a few years ago. Thank you, Ultra. No more for Suzette. Sue is done. But Biscayne Boulevard northbound to Southeast 1st Street and Biscayne Boulevard southbound to Northeast 6th Street. My Miami folks will be familiar. They're going to be closing starting today, thanks to Ultra. It's like one way in, one way out, like in a circle. It's a lot of chaos and it brings a lot of people here to the Bayfront Park area, to Miami Beach area. So Ultra Music Festival, note there will be many road closures in downtown Miami for Ultra. So if you're not going to be a part of the revelry, please avoid the area. Anyway, I'm almost out of time, y'all. Remember, today's show is brought to you by the Rise Women's Conference. Join us on Saturday, April 18th. It's almost here. Next month, y'all, after Easter, we'll be coming together to empower ladies from across South Florida and beyond. This is a conference designed to restore, inspire, serve, and empower. If you're looking to rebuild your mind, your body, your spirit with other like-minded women who are interested in professional and personal development, this is the conference for you. Early bird tickets are only $35, now available on Eventbrite. So check out Rise Women's Conference, Rise Women's Conference. Look us up on Eventbrite. I have one ticket to give away. Looks like I'm not giving it away today. I'll have it tomorrow. 850-446. If you catch me before I leave, before 2 p.m., you get the free ticket. Woman who is struggling financially. If you can't afford a ticket at this time, we understand. It's hard times. Inflation is up. Job loss, I think, is up to 500,000 now. African-American women have lost their jobs. 500,000. I can't even get into it, y'all. I got to finish some of this discussion tomorrow. But hit me up. Last call for the free ticket to Rise, which will be Saturday, April 18th. 850-446-0562. 850-446-0562 if you catch me by 2. If not, I'll have the ticket for tomorrow. Make sure you keep it locked right here on Voice of the Caribbean, the Suzette Speak Show. Brought to you today by the Rise Women's Conference, Saturday, April 18th. You know you can catch me, what's up, on Thursday and Fridays. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., you can follow me on all platforms, Suzette, speaks with an S. Also, you can get my discount on the celebrity soccer tournament coming up on Memorial Day, brought to you by the City of Lauderhill, Commissioner Richard Campbell, and Voice of the Caribbean. Use on Eventbrite. I didn't even get to talk about it. Tomorrow I'll tell you more about it. I appreciate y'all listening. Keep it locked right here. Don't go nowhere. We have more wonderful music coming right up on this Throwback Thursday. And I appreciate you. Catch you tomorrow.
Caribbean, better sounding radio. WLYF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2.
Have a good day, y'all.
W245 BC, Lauderdale Lakes, 96.9 FM.